Scentland, the land of scent. Feel the groove, feel the funk. Yeah. How cool is that? How cool were the 70s? Hello and welcome, Chris, back with another fragrance review, this time reflecting on the decade of the 70s, right? So I sort of paid attention to get some weird style on where you don't know actually what the story is. Because the 70s obviously were sort of a, if for those who never lived in it, looking back at it, it seems to be a bit all over the place and confusing, yet very iconic, right? I was born in the 70s, 72. It's a long time ago. But as I say, the 70s were very iconic in terms of fashion, in terms of history, in terms of music as well, and in terms of fragrances. There are good few survivors that are still available today, vintage as well as still being made fragrances originating from the 70s. In the 70s, mostly we can talk about designer releases, right? So when I look at my top 10 70s fragrances today, this is my personal selection. Starting from the very beginning of the decade toward the very last year of the decade. So let's start. But this is my selection, right? There's some fragrances missing here, like Hermes Pour Homme, or Grey Flannel, or Halston. You know, these major 70s fragrances that you have to mention when you talk about the 70s, but I don't like them that much, so I didn't include them in my top 10. So in spot number 10, no, actually not spot number 10, I didn't rank it in a way like top 10. I ranked it in a way starting from 1970, right? So let's take a look at 1970. The year of 1970 brought a fragrance out by the very house of Hermes in Paris. And the fragrance was called, and is still called, Equipage. Equipage. I reviewed this one. It's a wonderful, get a little bit to the side so you can see. It's a wonderful, bright, woody, autumn sort of type of fragrance with a very good performance and a very classy style to it. I really adore it. I still use it. It's still in production. It's one of Hermes' flagships, I'd say. Up until this day, there's a flanker now down to this called Equipage Geranium. I reviewed that one as well, but barely any fragrance of the Hermes line matches up with Equipage. It's a very dry, woody fragrance from 1970. Just love it too. It's very nice. Actually, the fragrance is like the color of the juice. It's fantastic. Equipage from Hermes from 1970. Then, 1971, the house of Yves Saint Laurent, the great late Yves Saint Laurent, came out with a fragrance called Pour Homme, and on the marketing, the picture promoting this fragrance, there's your Pour Homme. Okay, this is actually the super concentrated version of it. This very bottle actually originates from '83, but it's basically the same fragrance. This is just a little bit more concentrated. The original Pour Homme has a red cap instead of a black one. But we talk about almost the very same fragrance, but it looks the same. I mean, bottle-wise and all that. The marketing at the time featured Yves Saint Laurent totally naked on a poster, right? He was very well built, long hair, glasses on, totally naked. I think it caused an uproar, but again, it's very 70s, right? So yeah, I think did a great job with that, and he sort of hooked people in to try this fragrance with this very marketing, okay? So about the fragrance, it's a citrus fragrance, a spicy citrus fragrance which has this sweaty, little bit damp, little bit sour, little bit dirty citrus mixed up with spices that creates this. It's not a simple citrus fragrance. It just has this as a main accord, and then the spices sort of make it dirty. It's very interesting, very much 70s, even signature fragrance. Pour Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. You can see actually Yves Saint Laurent. Okay, Pour Homme, fantastic juice. I really love this, and this concentrate version as well. Okay, let's leave out the year 1972 because I'm representing 1972 here today, you know, very much in the 70s style. But 1973 saw great fragrance from the house of Aramis being released. I still have the original bottle because this is being even produced now in their gentleman's line, like Havana New West and all that. Aramis 900. I reviewed this one as well. I mean, look at the bottle. Like, this is the original 73 bottle, and yeah, it's this like what we have here is a spicy powdery rose. Okay, it's very classy, very, very classy. I love this fragrance. Great energizing fragrance. Actually, with some, and this is why, for example, I don't like Halston that much, or even Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, because with some 70s fragrances, or Grey Flanelle, because with some 70s fragrances, they're so heavy that they sit on your shoulder and sort of drag you down. I like fragrances, even if they're spicy and heavy, that lift me up. So my 70s selection, and any selection I do, is mainly concentrating on this positive aspect of a fragrance. So it's a spicy, powdery rose, but it's a very uplifting, fresh, sort of classy fresh, 70s fresh, you know, not today's aquatic stuff. 70s fresh fragrance is a fantastic juice. It lasts forever. Actually, most of them do. At the time, this eau de parfum, extrait de parfum, and niche, and all that just didn't matter, guys, you know, and girls. It just didn't matter. They produced an eau de toilette. They lost. That was the solution. All this eau de parfum, or extrait, it's good because it's different, you know, concentration, all that. But at the end, do you need it? You don't need it, because there were 40 years ago fragrances produced that had actually the stamina and the power, such as Aramis 900 from 1973. Great. 1974, Givenchy released a fragrance called Gentleman. This is the new version of it. Okay, it's still extremely strong. It's very patchouli based. Patchouli, very prominent ingredient of the 70s. In almost every fragrance you can find it. Patchouli. This is a very patchouli heavy. I could say that this is a little bit sitting on your shoulders, but like, you can't leave this one out from your rankings, because Givenchy Gentleman is maybe the flagship of the 70s. It's a very classy, patchouli, mossy, spicy fragrance. Very dry as well, very heavy, extremely well performing. Like the name says, perfect name again. And it's an occasional use, or maybe a signature fragrance for an older guy. Givenchy Gentleman from 1974. I rarely reach for it, but when I reach for it, I make a statement. Okay, 1975, in the middle of the 70s, you know, what was it all about? Hippies and weird clothes and sex, right? Sex all over the place. It was like, you know, post flower power, or still maybe a little bit of flower power, the US going out of Vietnam and all that, and the drug scene and everything. So I want to show you something that is typically like 70s bad taste, good taste. I don't know, just 70s taste. Look at this box. That's, would you guess at the name? Sex Appeal, 1975, Jovan. It's American house. And the fragrance is called Sex Appeal. And the statement says, Sex Appeal. Now, you don't have to be born with it. This provocative, stimulating blend of rare spices and herbs was created by man for the sole purpose of attracting woman at will. That's the statement, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look at the whole thing. It's just hilarious. But it's what it is. It's a mix of Givenchy Gentleman and the fragrance I'm going to be introducing later on from Lagerfeld. It's very much like that. It's a spicy, a little bit powdery, then getting warm, sweet, musky. It's a great fragrance, actually. It's a great fragrance, but don't be afraid of the name. It's not for today's taste. It's still available, still being made. It's Coty, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But this stuff is just it's just a statement, I have to say, you know. But it's, to me, to my nose, it's a mix between Givenchy Gentleman and Lagerfeld Cologne, or Lagerfeld Classic as it's called now. 1975 Jovan Sex Appeal. What a statement. Okay. 1976. Love this juice. Denim released. Per l'uomo che non deve chiedere mai. That was the slogan in 76. It's Italian house for the man who doesn't have to ask for things. They get to him automatically. Oh, yeah. Per l'uomo che non deve chiedere mai, Denim. And then you had this guy in denim, actually, and the girl came from behind and opened up his buttons, and then that was the whole marketing, and it was all about denim. Fresh, bright, spicy, leathery. Great fragrance. Love Denim. I use it as there is an eau de toilette version at the time, and this one is actually an aftershave. They kept the same bottle, and actually here this is supposed to be the button, right? The one that you open, like even in the advertisement for it. It's a very uplifting fragrance. Again, I use it in the mornings. It's just, I reviewed this one as well. It's just very bright, very uplifting, very spicy, yet it has a freshness that's unique to the 70s, and very, very well done. It's actually, for an aftershave, it's very well lasting as well. So Denim, the original, that's the name. There are many Devin flankers, but that's the original, right? Devin original, somewhere visible there. Yes, 1976. 77 we leave out because due to the respect of the king, Elvis, right? You know, 77 is the year of Elvis passing. But 78, therefore, I have two fragrances. I was mentioning Lagerfeld, Karl, der Große. The first male fragrance released by Karl Lagerfeld back in 78 was Lagerfeld Cologne, at the time Lagerfeld Classic. Now this is the new bottle. According to me, it didn't really change that much. It got a little bit more customer friendly probably, but the vibe that it has is fantastic. There are top notes, and you spray it on you and you smell it. I reviewed this as well, and it's not the way you should use this. You should use it underneath clothing and let it breathe, because it has the most unique aroma of them all here, maybe. Such a great composition that I use it to this day, mainly in cold weather and maybe spring, winter. But this juice is definitely a very spicy, not for everyone juice, but it's very intelligently made, but you have to use it intelligently in order to get the best out of it, okay? Lagerfeld Classic, 1978. I love this juice to bits. And the design itself, made by Karl, or designed by Karl Lagerfeld himself at the time. Another 1978 fragrance. I love this juice. I use it. It's my signature fragrance now, called Derrick. Derrick. Actually, the bottle looks like a petroleum or like a fuel tank which you have in the car, like when you put in fuel, which you get at the gas station, right? And it's in the car. If you run out of fuel, you have to back up. So this is the type of packaging. The name could be reflecting to a German TV character as well. Denim, a very spicy blend, very soft spicy, very fresh spicy, perfect composition for any time of the day. Very good signature fragrance. It's 70s, but it's very much available today. Because it has this appeal that is still working very well today. This is why I use it, because it makes me just feel so comfortable and self-confident. I shower in this stuff. It is for me the most likable 70s fragrance that there is. It's being made by Orlane, which is a French house. So Orlane Derrick from 1978. We jumped at the year, and 1979, we arrived to the last year, right? My favorite actor, one of my favorite actors in France, his name is Alain Delon, many of you may know him, came out in 1979 with this fragrance, simply called Alain Delon. It's a fantastic aldehyde, benzoin, honey spicy, uplifting, great composition, similar to the vibe of Lagerfeld Classic, less spicy, bit more sweet, but a very good signature fragrance. It's not being made anymore. I have this bottle. I have a better backup bottle as well. I love this to bits because it's just a fantastic bottle, and a fantastic fragrance in the bottle. I like as well. Actually, it bears his signature there, his initials there. It's very simple, but very, very effective stuff. That was the first fragrance actually I ever purchased for myself, and ever since I use it, it has this great, uplifting, bright, yet still heavy 70s spiciness about it. A unique blend. I couldn't compare it really. Maybe the effect it has on you, maybe to Lagerfeld Classic, but this one is maybe between Lagerfeld Classic and Boss Number 1 to the 80s. I don't know, somewhere in there between, but definitely standing on its own feet. Alain Delon, the original. There's another version called Classic. Forget that, it's not the same fragrance. This one is the original juice from 1979 from Alain Delon. And then the last one in this top 10 selection, released by the Italian house of Nino Cerruti. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, the very best designer fragrance ever made, Nino Cerruti. It's being referred to Nino Cerruti Cerruti or Nino Cerruti Nino. Anyway, it's a fantastic, flowery, soapy, spicy, bright, fantastic composition, 1979. Said farewell to the 70s with the best male fragrance, in my opinion. I love this. I only have this small 25ml available, which is a shame, but this is truly a fantastic juice. Performance wise, it's very, very good as well. Sadly not available. If I could sort of match it to something, or what does it remind me of? It reminds me of a little bit of Insensé by Givenchy in 1993. But this one is a bit better. It's a bit more masculine and it's a bit more soapy as well. But in the end, it's a flowery, soapy fragrance, a bright, flowery, soapy fragrance, perfect for springtime. So you can see actually all these fragrances, like, hello, all these fragrances making these statements here from the 70s, right? All of them are here and they're proud to be here. Right? There you go. Come on, juice, there's too much of denim, right? So in between them, it's me. It was a pleasure, and gotta love the 70s because they gave the community originality, good performance for your money, and fragrances to be remembered because they had, what it takes to be remembered. Next time I will be back with my top 10 from the 80s. I get a bit nostalgic looking at these and smelling these bottles, I have to say. Love the 70s. Love the 70s. Thanks very much, and bye-bye.